Been juggling too many things this evening, so let me apologize first to the viewers that I'm coming late. It is not in my character to come late to these programs, but tonight, please just forgive me. Thank you. So I just finished a meeting with a friend of mine, and I needed to quickly freshen up before starting this, so that's what happened. So sorry.
Thank you, sir. So Chief Dr. DELE MOMODU, for the benefit of those who may not know you well, please introduce yourself, sir.
Okay, you've mentioned my name already, so I'll tell you my name in full. I am Ayobamidele Abayomi Ojutelegan Ajani Momodu. Those names came from different sources, from my mother, from my grandmother, and so on and so forth. But everybody knows me as DELE MOMODU. And I was born in the ancient town of Ile-Ife in 1960, May 16 to be precise, which means I'll be 61 years old. I can't believe it, next month. And which means I've reached my retirement age. I did all my education in Ife, primary, secondary, university, first degree, second degree, everything. So you can call me an Ife boy. I'm very proud of that heritage. It's a glorious heritage. Of course, my trajectory is a very long one. I've come a very long way, being an errand boy in a bookstore in Ife, the CSS bookshop, which I believe was owned by the Anglican Church in those. I don't know if CSS still exists, but I was an errand boy very early in life, because I lost my father when I was barely 13 years old. My father died. And I was left with my mother, an unlettered woman who had to do everything humanly possible to send me to school. We had to squat with our cousins, the Oyemades in Modakeke, you know. And so I went through so much in life. I was a village teacher. I taught in a village school very close to Ife. It was a very remote village where you had to navigate yourself your way to the school on a cocoa tractor. Regular vehicles could not go there. So thereafter, I worked at the University of Ife Library in 1977. The library is now known today as the Ezekiah Oluwasomi Library. After that, I became a pioneer Jambite in 1978. We were the first set of JAM. We wrote JAM, and I was taken to read Yoruba language and literature at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University. Nowadays, it used to be called University of Ife. So, after that, I did my national service. I taught A-level Yoruba at the Oyo State College of Arts and Science in Ile-Ife. After that, about the age of 23, I joined Chief Akinyomoboriowo, the then Deputy Governor of Old Ondo State, as private secretary. So I started my life very early, interacting with politicians and learning the ropes. But that appointment was short-lived because the Buhari government came and they put all the politicians in prison. So I was traveling from my Oga's house in Ijeru Ekiti to our prison almost on daily basis to go and see my boss. And that was how I started navigating my way around Nigeria, meeting people, the high, the mighty, the not so mighty, you know. So unknown to me, God was preparing me for a journey, because what I do today at Ovation has a lot to do with interacting with people from all walks of life. Then I worked thereafter for the Ooni of Ife, Oba Okunade Shijuade, Oba Okwadeshi Olubushe II, Olubushe Riogun Ebitikimopiri. You know, I am feeling nostalgic as I speak about my life history because, as I said, I've come a very long way. Then I did my master's in literature in English and became the first and only Nigerian I know, I don't know, there may be others now, to ever have a first degree in Yoruba and a master's degree in literature in English. Thereafter, I had to come to Lagos in search of greener pastures, and I got my first job at the African Concord magazine, which was owned by Chief Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola. I was there. I was moved to Weekend Concord, where I rose very, very sporadically and became the news editor by 1989. I joined Concord in 88. By 1989, I had, sporadic promotions because I was working, the poverty I left behind in Ile-Ife scared me so much that I had to work so much like a jackass, just to keep body and soul together. And so by exactly 2 years, in May 1990, I became the highest paid editor in Nigeria. So I think I should stop there and let you ask your questions.
Thank you very much. You made reference to the fact that you spent most of your life in Ife, which is southwest of Nigeria. Looking back on your growing up and right now, what would you say has changed? What are the disparities?
Well, Ife of those days was a potpourri of different Nigerians from different parts of Nigeria. We converged in Ile-Ife. Ife was very similar to what we have in Lagos today. My father originally migrated from the old Midwest to Ile-Ife. My father came from present-day Edo State, from a village called Eve. Eve is in the Owan East local government today in Edo State. How he decided to go to Ife, a lot of people at that time, young, adventurous people, used to go to different parts of Nigeria just to eke a living. They wanted to survive. And my father worked with the Public Works Department, what we call PWD, otherwise called Pongpong Wahala. They were road overseers. They built the roads. They restored the roads. They did general, overhaul of the infrastructure at the time. And they were very effective. You didn't need big contractors. You didn't need Julius Baja or anybody at that time. They were able to fix everything. And so he rose to become a road overseer. So a lot of them, we had a lot of Igbo people in Ife. For example, one of the leading pastors in my church, I went to an Aladura church, was a man I will never forget. Was an Igbo man. And his son was named Bamidele. We called him about Fine Face. And he had a son called Bamidele. You can imagine an Igbo man who named his son Bamidele. And during the war, no, I'm sure the son was older than me. During the war, he had to move back home to Biafra land. And you won't believe it, he left all his things in our care. He gave to different friends. And he came back after the war, everything was intact. Nobody touched anything. Nobody said because he was an Igbo man, oh, let's confiscate his property, let's do this or that. So Ile-Ife in those days was bubbling with unity. We were united. We saw ourselves as one. We have Sabo. My father used to have a restaurant just across the street from Sabo. Sabo was where the Hausas, we didn't know of Fulani then. Everybody was Hausa once you were a Northerner. And they were there, and we all lived in peace. People married from different places. My grandparents were Muslims. My parents were Christians. It didn't matter to anybody. So I don't know where these characters came from who suddenly felt the unity and peace of Nigeria after the war could be toyed with, to the extent that everybody I know today, except maybe those who are benefiting from the system in Nigeria, everybody wants to get out of this union. And I believe that is why you formed your organization. I don't have any problem with you, but I can tell you that what you have is an uphill task.
I do like the challenge. Perhaps I should interject here and explain what the organization is about. So the Unity Project is all about promoting ethnic and religious harmony in Nigeria. And we believe that there is problems with the so-called unity that exists today, and we're looking for solutions. So we are opening up dialogues and opening up conversations across the nation, and we want to know what the problems are and how we can fix it. So we're not saying, oh, one Nigeria as it is. No, nobody has a capacity to do that. We cannot impose that. But, you know, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that point. Okay, my first question, sir. The pertinent question, Nigeria's unity, is it a possibility or is it a myth? Is it something that we can achieve, or is it something that's a tall dream?
Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. But a situation where some people want to turn their fellow citizens into third-class citizens, you cannot have a unity. The word unity itself comes from friction, conflict. When A and B are in conflict, A and B must agree on certain principles, conditions, conditionalities, configuration, and so on and so forth for you to have unity. But a situation where party A believes that it does not owe party B any explanation, a situation where party A views party B as its perpetual slave, you can never have unity. So unless a miracle happens and you have someone, whether it's Buhari or his surrogates or whatever they are, and suddenly a miracle happens and they have a change of heart, it's no longer a change of mind. It has moved beyond their mind now. Their mind is made up already that Nigeria belongs to a certain class and category of people. So you now have to go to their hearts. If something happens and they have a change of heart about Nigeria and about how they view fellow Nigerians, there will never be unity. And I can tell you, it is getting worse by the day. Each time we try to appeal to the conscience of our current leaders and tell them that the best legacy you can leave behind in Nigeria is to unite the people of Nigeria, the more they come back with acts of provocation. What is causing the tension today is the fact that our leaders are deliberately provoking some parts of Nigeria. And that cannot continue forever. I always tell people that no nation has ever lived perpetually in stupidity and backwardness. And Nigeria is not going to be an exception. They will try. Yeah. They will use the military, use the security apparatus, use everything at their disposal to suppress the will of the people. But I can tell you, it may not be in our own lifetime, it may be whenever. But I know that a day will come when the history of Nigeria will be written. And we will all look back and say, so what happened? How did we achieve this? Once upon a time, there was a division in Germany where you had even a wall between West Germany and East Germany. But today, who knows the difference? So, it will happen. Even the wall of Jericho, we read it in the Bible. It was so formidable that the Israelites had to go around it. I don't know whether it was metaphorical or it was physical. But we heard that the wall collapsed. So the wall of Jericho in Nigeria will definitely collapse. I have no doubt about that. You see, the people who govern us lack a sense of history. If you are not properly educated about who you are, you would think you are God. When God has been kind to you, you begin to see yourself. Look at all the leaders, even as young as you are. How many Nigerian leaders have you witnessed, Jennifer? I'm sure you know of Babangida, you will know of Absalami Abubakar, you will know of Obasanjo, you will know of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, you will know of Jonathan, and of course you know of Buhari. So tell me, all the people who governed before Buhari, where are they today? Do they still have the same power they wielded just a few years ago? So why is anybody wasting his time thinking you can just put the ropes around the necks of Nigerians and you just lead them to slaughter? It doesn't make sense to me. And as someone who had been a supporter of Buhari, I am thoroughly embarrassed, thoroughly embarrassed that we could find ourselves at this level. It is such an unforgivable and unfortunate situation that we have found ourselves. So those of you who are preaching unity, I wish you the best of luck. But the best people to preach to is not people like me, because I don't have any problem with other Nigerians. It is those Nigerians who have problems with their fellow Nigerians that you should go and talk to. And you should start with your leaders, with the president and everything. But if you are talking to us, it's like what Ifabella used to say. It means you are clapping with one hand, you are hiding behind one finger, and it will never fly.
I'm not preaching to you, sir. The purpose of the interview, the purpose of the conference, is to understand the conflict. You already put in words what we're about. Unity comes from maybe a group of people who have come together in compromise. And in our research and what we've referenced from people we've interviewed, they have said the marriage of Nigeria today was forced upon us by the British. And it is not favorable to all the ethnic groups. So certain groups are marginalized and certain groups are in charge. And so we're looking for a way to resolve this conflict and have everybody together on the same page. That's what we're about. So the conference which we're having on the 18th is to ask Nigerians their own opinions. Because while people like you are vocal, there are other people who are just grumbling underneath. Perhaps our voices are not heard enough. I'd like to reference one of my previous interviewees. He said that Nigerians are very tolerant people. And the fact is, whatever government has done, people keep tolerating and they keep tolerating and they keep tolerating and nobody's speaking out. And so we're here to understand what the problems are and how we can resolve it. That's what our organization is about. We're not insisting we should continue the way we are. We're saying we want to understand the problem and we want to help.
Jennifer.
That's what we're about, sir.
Jennifer, a Nigerian kid who was born 5-6 years ago already knows the problems of Nigeria. To say you want to understand the problems of Nigeria, I disagree. We all know the problems. It's the solution. And the solution is that each and every one of us must make a conscious effort and sacrifice. In fact, the key word is sacrifice. Anybody, and I've said this repeatedly, any leader, a president of a country as big, as complex, and complicated as Nigeria, who wants to represent the interests of his place of birth, cannot succeed. A president is supposed to be for everybody. If you want to represent your area, then you must be an emir, a chief, a warlord, a bandit, like you have it all over the world, where people fight. They fight for the rights of their own people. But in a union, everybody must agree to sit together. A president cannot tell me, a president, you cannot say you don't know the problem of Nigeria. Before our very eyes, there are bandits in Nigeria. And you have a leadership that knows the whereabouts of these bandits. and they are untouchable. And then you now go after those who have not carried any weapon against their country. But just for talking, you go after them. Just for saying, if this thing persists, we will react and retaliate. You go after them. You will get the police to go after them. And the same police and military will not go after those who have already committed acts of treason. You can't do that and tell me you don't know the problems of Nigeria. Those who were calling for restructuring, they are the grammarians. There are people who are no longer interested in restructuring. That what are you restructuring? Who will do the restructuring? Who will even agree to the restructuring? But let me tell you, the sad part is that those who are mostly affected now, I didn't mind. You see, let me tell you, if the North decides that they want Sharia law, I have no problem with it, as long as you are not going to come to my state and compel me to follow Sharia when there is no Sharia in my constitution. These are some of the issues that we have. If you like, you can say you don't mind if there are bandits in Zamfara. I'm not from Zamfara. Do you understand? But if you export it from Zamfara and you are going southwards and you are saying the people of the south have no right to cry out and put a stop to it, then something is wrong. That is the problem we have. That look, if it is convenient for you for bandits to operate unrestrained and unabated, that's your business. But you cannot say that someone will come to my farmland, I planted my maize, planted my yam, and you just bring cows and they roam majestically on my farmland, and you tell me I have no right to complain. So what manner of leader are you? So that is the problem. I don't have anything personal against anybody. I have a lot of fantastic Fulani friends, well educated, very urbane, very cultured. But the opposite, they've allowed the opposite. Those who are not educated, those who don't contribute anything meaningful, they don't pay anything, nothing to the state. And a lot of them are even acknowledged as foreigners. You allow them to roam freely and you don't do anything about them. And then you have a Sunday Igboho in Ibadan who is saying, no, I'm not going to sit down, arms akimbo, and watch some people, foreigners, invaders, whatever you want to call them, come to my farmland and destroy everything, and you tell me I have no right. How do you talk about unity to me? That is the problem.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to express a view, which is that for us to fully understand all the problems, we need all the parties at the table. So we have part of the parties speaking out, and the other parts are saying consenting things. And I do hope that you will participate on the 18th and get to listen to some of the views. Okay. One of the questions I want to ask...
Who are the people sitting down?
I have yet to get
Jennifer, who are the... I didn't get that. Who are the people sitting down? Who are the parties sitting down to talk? How did you choose them? How did you select them?
The parties that we have ordinary Nigerians. We also have various leaders of organizations that want this Nigerian divide, and we want to understand how we will do this. Okay, so my question to you, sir, is if we're having this divide, I've heard suggestions such as we're having a regional breakaway, or we're going for a confederation where every state is responsible for its own laws, its own security, and maintaining its own wealth. What do you prefer? What do you think would work?
I will start from the beginning.
Or every state is starting.
No, I will start from the beginning. You say you are sitting down with people. How do you sit down with people who have no power to enforce anything? The people you need to speak with, let me tell you, one of the things we do the best in Nigeria is we talk a lot and do nothing. This part of what we're doing now. We're just talking. What we're talking now is of no effect. Some people are sitting down somewhere now and drinking their tea or whatever and saying, I don't mind them. Let them keep talking. Let us stop wasting our time You cannot dialogue with yourself. You cannot dialogue with someone who does not want any dialogue. You cannot talk to somebody who says you are a slave. And if you say you want to go, I will injure you. I will not let you go because I control the military. I control the police. That is the problem. So what you are doing now is you are just scratching it on the surface. There are fundamental issues to be addressed. I am not going to participate in a dialogue or conversation that I know will lead nowhere. These people have made up their minds. They are not stupid. They know what they are doing. They've planned it over time. And they've decided that you and I have no right to challenge it. And unfortunately, you also have leaders in the southwest, in the southeast, in the south-south, in the north-central, and all across Nigeria. You have leaders who are chicken-hearted. I read a region of Nigeria over the weekend that they formed a security committee. And what is the agenda of the security committee? I thought they would say, oh, we are going to go after bandits, we are going to go after terrorists, we are going to go after invaders, we are going to go after... Do you understand? No, but it's obvious that they are forming their security probably to fight some people who are agitating for freedom within their zone. It doesn't make sense to me. You understand? You are not facing your oppressors. You are facing your own local people, your own citizens, who are demanding as a matter of legitimate right to say, look, we want freedom of association. We want to determine who we want to associate with. That is what I'm seeing. A governor came out and said he ordered the army to go and crush some of his own people. So how come the people of Zamfara, the people of Niger, where people are being kidnapped daily, they are not responding in that manner? What is wrong with us in the south? I'm not saying fight government. I am saying fight whosoever makes life difficult for you. I'm not saying go and fight government. But where you now have people who are now saying we have formed our security thing and we're very loyal to the federal government of Nigeria. If the federal government of Nigeria provided security, will you be forming your own security in the first instance? So for me, let me tell you, it has become a big joke. But what I know is that a day will be a day when the monkey will go to the market and it will be a different story. That is, I have no doubt. History has taught me. Let me tell you, what shall it profit a leader if under his watch everything falls apart? I don't know what any leader will, so that in the future they will say, yes, you champion the cause of your people. Is that all there is to life? A good leader should be a global statesman. When you mention Nelson Mandela, when you mention Moshood Abiola, when you mention Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, when you mention Jomo Kenyatta, when you mention Pandit Nehru, when you mention all these great people, when you mention Mother Teresa, when you mention Prophet Muhammad, when you mention Jesus Christ, when you mention Buddha, all of them at different times in their history, they did something that the world is celebrating till today. So why are our own leaders so myopic? Why are they so unambitious? Why are they so visionless that they cannot see the bigger picture? It is well.
But you have yet to answer my question, sir. If we are to achieve this split of Nigeria, this division of Nigeria, would it be a regional separation? Would it be individual states? If, let's just say, hypothetically, we are able to address the federal government of Nigeria today, or United Nations, or African Union, and and we are able to get attention to say, okay, we want to go, what would we put forward? A regional division, confederation, or what would you prefer as a solution, sir?
Personally, I don't like to talk loosely or make wild generalizations. There are different options now available to Nigerians, and only Nigerians themselves can come together and determine. For example, when I interviewed Mazi and Kanu last year, he spoke about a referendum that we should have, and I think that sounds very reasonable. Most countries that have gone through what we are going through right now went through that process and procedure. And I expect that Nigerians themselves will have to decide. There are those who don't even want to have anything to do with the union called Nigeria because they believe that it was forced together by the British in those days.
Yes, that's the view.
And that they are tired of it. I've had meetings with different groups. People consult me. People talk to us from time to time. Even the late Yinka Dumakin, myself, Aki Oshutokun, and a few others. We meet with different governments who want our views. And my problem is the fact that it is almost impossible to separate under the present configuration without a war. That is my fear. And so that is why I am hoping that people would not throw the baby away with the bath water by saying what Kanu is saying is crazy. Because Kanu is still talking about a process that is peaceful by talking of a referendum. You know, I mean, you were part of Brexit in London. I was one of those who said Brexit was impossible, that it will not happen. But before our very eyes, it happened. They pulled out. So let people vote for where they want to belong. That shouldn't be a problem. But where you now refuse and say they cannot go away, even, I mean, I'm sure you heard of a book. It was a very popular title when we were growing up, Let My People Go. I think it was by Albert Luthuli. You know, during the apartheid regime and all that. He said, let my people go. You know, people should have the freedom to determine, especially in a marriage. If you don't like your wife, okay, you are tired of your wife, and it's obvious that you have no respect whatsoever for your wife, and then you say she cannot go away. I mean, what common sense do you see in that? You are saying you don't agree, you don't have anything in common.
You don't want her to go.
You don't want her, and you don't want her to go. You want her to remain your slave. You want her to still be cooking for you, which is what is happening now. How do you take money from the south and you say you are bringing a train from Nigeria to Niger Republic? What sense is in that? How many people travel from Nigeria to Niger Republic? In fact, more people travel from Nigeria through Badagry. You have a federal road there that links up to the ECOWAS road from Semen through Cotonou, through Ilakoji. So you either go towards Lomé in Togo or you go to Côte d'Ivoire when you turn right. We have not built anything in that direction. You have seaports in Lomé. You have in Tema, in Ghana. You have in Cotonou. And you don't think it is better for you to invest money in that direction, but you will rather invest money towards Niger Republic. These are the things that are provoking people. Then the Niger Delta, where the bulk of the money is coming from, you are not doing anything. The place is polluted, the place is destroyed, the people are living in misery. You have not done anything for them, and you think, yeah, you can just come grab. Now someone said they want to build the biggest gas plant in Maiduguri. You are not building it where the gas is. So you are going to build the biggest gas plant in Africa, and you will now take it with pipes from where to where? From the Niger Delta all the way. So these are issues that, and we are appealing to those we know, we are talking to them, but it seems they are also powerless. They are powerless. So, and I don't know what drives people to think that they can force others to follow them sheepishly. So that's why I cannot tell you one thing that I want. Nigerians are the ones who will determine what they want. And I have only one vote in the referendum. Only one vote. Left to me alone, I would have preferred a larger Nigeria. But the way it is going now, it's becoming more attractive. In fact, it's like Buhari is helping the proponents, okay, of many nations out of Nigeria. Let me put it that way. It's like the one even driving them and helping them, you know, to solidify their action. There were people, I have a sister-in-law, very, very intelligent woman, very brilliant, she's a lawyer, a die-hard Buhari fanatic. If you speak to her today, you will not believe it's the same person. 2 years ago, this woman, Buhari would not do anything wrong. So, but because of this intransigence on the part of the Buhari government, thinking that there is nothing anybody can do, we're in power, so a lot of people who ordinarily will not support those who want to break away, suddenly I'm hearing of Odua nation, Yoruba nation, Biafra, this and that, and you can't blame them.
Okay, sir. Just two final questions. I'd like to reference one of my previous interviewees who has said that the government has been able to get away with impunity because the Nigerian masses as a whole are not reacting to things they're supposed to react to. That they're not. It's just a few individuals here and there who speak and then they're intimidated to keep quiet. The voice of the people is the voice of God. That if Nigerians en masse were awake and stood against this decision, that there will be a change. For example, this rail from Daura to Niger Republic, a lot of my interviewees have referenced that it's a waste of resources. It has no economical value in Nigeria. It's not even one of the routes to consider. So why is that? Why are billions being sunk into such a wasteful project? And then masters, if we're looking at the young people and a huge percentage of the population are not even reacting to this news. And that person is saying that this is because Nigerians as a whole choose to ignore situations and they keep tolerating and the government continue to act with impunity. Do you think that this is the case? Because you said that these leaders are not listening. But do you think that because the volume is not loud enough?
Definitely the volume is not loud enough. Don't forget that the lives of majority of Nigerian business people depend on government. The government of Nigeria, especially the president of Nigeria, is so powerful. He can almost turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. You can wake up a certified pauper and by afternoon you are a certificated billionaire. Just stroke of a pen from the president, your life can change within a twinkle of an eye. So that is the problem. So an average Nigerian depends on government. So everybody is afraid. In fact, sometimes the way I describe it, there is only foolish people like myself who criticize government in Nigeria because what it means that you're going to lose government patronage. And that's why it's painful sometimes when you see your fellow citizens who should appreciate that you are putting everything at a risk. Most people don't realize that the greatest radicals on earth are those who have something to lose and yet they put it at risk. A radical is not a poor man. They say a man who is down fears no fall. A radical is an Abiola who had everything to lose and chose to spend 4 years of his life in prison till he died. That for me is a radical. So a lot of people in Nigeria are not ready to make the. I see people today say, oh, if Abiola if he didn't fight government, oh, he will be alive today. I say, so he will be alive, a useless man, when he sees what is wrong in his country and is not able to speak, then he dies of headache or stomach ache. Is that a worthy life? And I tell them, Abiola died a good death. Abiola today will be remembered forever. Kudirat Abiola will be remembered forever. There is no country in the world that has made it where some people did not have to make sacrifice. Why is our own different? Why is everybody thinking it will happen by sitting down in the comfort of your homes or by going to church and praying like praying mantis? No. Nigerians must speak up. It does not cost you a dime to speak up. In fact, now you are even lucky, unlike our time when we used to face the military on the street. Now you can sit in your home and reach millions of people. As we are talking now, people are watching us. I hooked up on Facebook. As we are speaking now, we have 1.1k people, over 1,000 people, as I'm talking to you now, watching on Facebook. So people are watching. People will watch it on YouTube. They watch it all over the world. So just speak up. Let people know. If our important people, all the artists who control millions of followership, if they decide to, they don't even need to go to Lekki toll gate before people will feel their impact. But you think only a few people Showore has his business. Showore can sit in America and not come to Nigeria. But he chose to come home. And yet you will still find people who are busy. What is wrong with him? I said, look, if you can't praise him, I'm not saying you should praise anybody, please tolerate everybody. Anybody who is doing something, no matter how little, let us appreciate them. But rather we are fighting amongst ourselves. Oh, who is Showore, who is Dele Momodu, who is Mogadu, who is Feladrotui. That is not going to solve our problem. Our problems will be solved when we all realize that we have a big problem at hand. And trust me, it is not impossible to whip this government into line without firing a bullet. We will use our intelligence. We will use our brains. Nigerians are among the most brilliant human beings on earth. We're not going to allow anybody to reduce us to a country of cows. It's not going to happen. Look at how many Nigerians we have in the cabinet of Joe Biden today, and then we are still talking about cows. Look at what happened in Ghana today. I just read on Twitter that Twitter now is having its headquarters, its African headquarters in Ghana. A population of maybe less than 30 million. But because Ghana has built a good image for itself. Anytime you read anything about Nigeria now, it's about cows, it's about banditry, it's about kidnapping, it's about... So who wants to bring a business to... So, correct. And you are now talking to me that unity. It's not about... The problem is not unity. I don't have any problem with you. Some of my best friends are there. I have a friend who is from Northeast. You understand? Hawa Tuko, his father used to be a PDP chairman. Alhaji Bamanga Tuko's son. When I was contesting, I wanted him to be my running mate. Now we have Nasiru El-Rufai in Kaduna, brilliant, very cerebral, but I don't know what happened in politics. Every day now in Kaduna is about banditry. How do you run a nation where you don't even know what is going to happen between tonight and tomorrow morning? And we're advising government and government says no. And once you advise government, then you are an enemy of government. I'm not an enemy of anybody. I don't want this to go on forever. But unfortunately, it seems these people have made up their minds that everything must fall apart. Unfortunately, the great writer Chinua Achebe is no more.
In many words, sir. In many words, you have explained our position. You and I, the average Nigerian, are not the problem. We have a problem, and we have to resolve it peacefully if we can. And ultimately, what we hope to achieve is a peaceful resolution, and how we would have this referendum, national conference, and how we'll have representation from all the enemy groups, and we will all decide peacefully what we want. That is ultimately what we are calling for on the long term, a national conference. So our conference on Sunday is a mini national conference where we have representations from every state in Nigeria, including Abuja, and then everyone can have their say. That's ultimately what we're hoping to achieve on the long term, that we can have a peaceful resolution to these problems. Because I am sure, sir, you and I, we have witnessed war, the outbeats over the news in some countries. We would like to avoid such a situation in our country. That's the aim, sir. One final question, or should I say perhaps a remark. One of my previous interviewees from Jigawa State, he referenced something that you said, that Nigerians on average are selfish, which is the problem. And everyone would only think about their own personal gain first, about the interest of the nation. And another interviewee from Borno State said, all these people agitating for splits and divisions is because they're not benefiting from the government. That once the government chose them a few crumbs here and there, they would be silent. Do you think this is the case?
No. Well, I would again speak for myself. People have accused me in the past that it's because I wanted something from Buhari, didn't give me. That's so cheap. That blackmail is so cheap. If I wanted to have anything in government, I have enough contact, I have enough clout. I will get whatever I want. Even if I want to be in government outside Nigeria, I have enough contact and enough friends who can give me. That's if you look behind me, I'm a scholar. I came to Lagos out of joblessness to look for a job. I would have been a university teacher. That's my first love. As I'm speaking to you now, my biggest project, my dream now, I'm doing my library in Ibadan, a library resort. All I want to do is be able to produce books. Nobody reads again. We must get serious. I don't need anything from government. That's why I can criticize government. Why did I follow Buhari, who claimed to be a pauper in 2014, 2015, where at the time PDP was spraying money everywhere? I followed the man who said he didn't have money. It's based on principle. And when I saw that he was misbehaving, I also left on principle. There was no fight between me and Buhari. I just realized that, hey, the direction this man is going, if I follow him, all of us will end up in the same gutter. So I decided to face my business and leave him alone. If he fails, good luck to him. If he passes, good luck to him. But I have no doubt in my mind that the way he is going, and you can see even his own wife complains. So if people attack us, that is because I want something. If your own wife in the same house is saying, hey, bad people have taken over power, and nobody is listening to the woman. Even last week, I'm sure she still echoed it, saying bad people have taken over power in Nigeria. I don't know who they are. She probably knows them. But it tells you that the president should look inwards. We have the brains. So if Joe Biden is picking Nigerians to come and work for him in America, how come that the same Nigerians cannot function in their own country? And all you do is to blackmail us is because they want something. What do I want from government? What I'm wearing now, if I wear another cloth on top of it, they will think I'm a married person. I'm not going to sleep on 2 beds tonight, only one. Do you understand? So for me, I have chosen that I want to live my life in peace. Those who think at 80 they must be running a yo-yo around Abuja, that's their business. I see so many people, I wonder, you have been governor. If I was talking to some friends yesterday who had lunch, and I said, there was a governor who decamped recently from one party to another. I'm like, what else does he want? Why is he decamping? So and you are nearer 70 now, so why don't you find time to go back to your family, live with your children, your grandchildren, travel around the world? You've made money, you've made everything. I don't understand these people. People ask me, oh, are you not going to contest again? No, I said, I'm not going to become a serial contestant, just contesting for the fun of it when I know the result already. So I am telling you, this idea that if they give crumbs to some people, yes, it is true, if they give crumbs to some people, they will jump at it, but I'm not one of those people. Because I haven't lived 60 years of my life and I have survived thus far. I don't need anybody's crumbs.
Thank you so much, Chief Dr. DELE MOMODU, for joining us. Thank you for your insights. And we do hope that you will at least watch the Unity Conference on Sunday.
Is it virtual?
Streaming on Facebook. We'll be on Zoom, we'll be on Instagram, and we have, as I said, representation from all the 36 states and the FCT, and everyone explaining their own point of view as to the Nigerian problem and how we're going to solve it. And I'd just like to make sure a comment here. You said you look forward to your library in Ibadan. Some of us are returnees. I came back to Nigeria as an adult also with hope to make a change. However, conviction upon me is to foster peace, as it were, bridge peace in our country so that we can stay here and we don't have to be refugees, so that we don't all have to carry our bags and run back to England. That's the hope of what we're trying to achieve. I hope that is communicated clearly. And just for the record, for those who are watching, the Unity Project Nigeria is independent. We're not a political group. We have no affiliations with any government. We are just Nigerians who want peace, who want what is best for every and average Nigerian. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well,
Chief Dr. DELE MOMODU.
Thank you, Jennifer. I was going to ask about your mother when we started, because a lot of people may not know your pedigree. Your mom was one of those who inspired us as young writers in those days when she had a column in Vanguard. And so I was going to ask, how is she doing and all that?
My mother, like a lot of people, resigned on Nigeria. My mother does not visit Nigeria. If she comes on holiday, she prefers to go to Gambia or Jamaica. And I recall, I think it was about 10 years ago, she said she was going to buy a home in Jamaica instead of buying a home in Nigeria. So she has abandoned Nigeria, same as my father. Those people do not interact or relate with Nigeria whatsoever. So I'd also like to point across that I'm not in Nigeria because I'm looking for crumbs. I'm here because I want to make a change. And I could very easily shake off my passport and run off. But we want peace. We want a place our children can come to. And we believe that if we don't act, posterity will ask us. Today you referenced Nelson Mandela. You referenced great leaders, people who stuck their neck out for the benefit of the masses, for the greater good of their nation. And that's what we're hoping to achieve. Awaken the national conscience, awaken the average Nigerian. Speak up, stand for your rights, otherwise you will continually be trampled upon. And if you cannot even speak up for your rights, support those people who are speaking up for your rights. Nigerians on average are not supportive of anyone who's trying to make a change. And I like to reference Shomore Two-Face when he was arrested. A lot of Nigerians came out on social media and they cussed him out. We never want to support anybody. So how are we going to make a change?
Well, I hope you and I will have another opportunity.
If we want this separation, we all must come out. For example, I interviewed Otuma Gani Adams, and he talks about the Yoruba nation. And when you speak to 10 Yoruba people, 8 out of them says, who is Gani Adams? He's an idiot. Okay, but you are not happy with what the government is doing. Gani Adams is sticking out his neck saying he's going to do something, and you're not ready to support him. Same thing in the East, all over the country. I'm saying that Nigerians should know what they want. Nigerians should come out and speak for what they want. They should stand with what they want. That's the only way they're going to have a change, rather than grumbling quietly. That's the whole aim, sir. I
agree with you. I have the same frustration. Some people will say, those who still believe in Nigeria will say, oh, the next president of Nigeria must come from Southwest. Then when you mention A, they will say he's a thief. You mention B, they say he's a rogue. You mention C, so who do you then want? You must agree on someone. And the earlier you do, the better. Because a presidential election is not an overnight thing you can win. So it's frustrating. Trust me. Even those who say we want Nigeria to break up. Okay, what are the things you want to see in that new country? How do you arrive at that new country? We can't agree. So, I don't know. That's why the enemies are laughing. Because the enemies know that a lot of us are not serious. The enemies know that a lot of us don't have the balls to even fight for our beliefs, which is very unfortunate. But I wish you the best of luck. If you let me know the details of your conference, I will log in and I will try to broadcast for you. I mean, I'm a journalist to the core. I will still always do my job of reporting, you know. So I wish you the best of luck. It's been nice talking to you, Jennifer. Take care.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody. It's been 1 hour of good conversation with Jennifer Serrano. Her mom used to be a columnist with the Vanguard newspaper. She moved out of Nigeria, and she's saying the mom never wants to come back. You know, that's how frustrated some people are about Nigeria. Thank you. So let me just see some of the comments here. Good evening, everybody. Henry the Great. Excuse me, please. Henry the Great. Were you on the program? Good afternoon. I said, did you watch the program just now? Hello, Henry. Did you watch the program just now? Yes. Okay, goodbye, everybody.